It's me, Alfonso.
And Yanka.
And today we are going to talk about existential questions.
We're in a different setting, if you're wondering.
Yes, we're trying something different today. And the topic is existential questions. And
Yes.
you may be asking what that means. And basically, those are questions that you think about in the middle of the night, or before you go to bed, or even if you're under some sort of influence, you start asking these questions.
Yes, questions
So,
that
Yeah.
can't really be answered a lot of times.
Yeah, well, some people are convinced that they have answers to these questions, but
Right.
I don't know. Some of these questions, there's no scientific evidence as far as I know.
Yeah, you can Google all you want and you'll find some answers, I'm sure. But for the most part, there's not a concrete answer for a lot of
Yeah.
these. At least I hope so.
Yeah.
We'll see. I don't know what your questions are. You don't know what my questions are.
Right. And I
So-
feel like it's a good topic to do today because everyone has them. It's like everyone
Yeah.
is asking this some existential questions at some point in their lives. Maybe every day, maybe at sometimes, maybe I don't know
Yeah.
how often, but we all have asked
Especially
questions like these.
in your 20s.
Yeah,
I think.
especially in your 20s when
There-
you're lost and confused and you don't
Yeah.
know what you're doing. You start asking what is the meaning of life. I mean, I just like spoiled one of them, but that's the most popular one. Like, what is the meaning of life?
And I don't think I,
I
have
mean,
an
some
answer
people.
for that.
I feel like some people have answers to that, but
I feel like the meaning of life is very catered to your life.
Yeah,
it could
it's
change
very-
for everyone.
it's very subjective.
That's the word I was looking for, subjective.
But it's still an existential question because it makes you think of your existence and like what, what is it? It's like the big what question.
So is that one of your questions?
Actually, no, because it was too common, so I didn't put it on my list.
Okay. Well, should we jump in?
Yeah,
I
we can jump in.
I
You can
went
start.
old school and I actually wrote it on a sticky note. So my first question is, do we really have soulmates or do we believe in soulmates?
It's a good one.
Do you believe in soulmates, Alfonso?
I don't know. I'm like, where's mine,
Yeah, have you ever experienced such thing?
I don't know. Maybe back then, but
Well, clearly,
if you're asking me if
it's-
someone is out there like walking around who's like my like perfect pair, like perfect match, I don't know. I guess I don't 100% believe in that. Do you?
I think I do. I think that there's soulmates and then there's people you come across who you may think are your soulmates. But you just know. I mean, I've been dating the same person for many years and I believe he's my soulmate. We've had back and forths and we've taken breaks and we always make our way back to each other, like quite literally every time. And I believe he's my soulmate, but who knows? I feel comfortable around
Well,
him.
actually, soulmates can be just friends too.
That's true.
It doesn't have to be romantically.
Thanks for
So yes,
clarifying.
I do agree that we do have soulmates in terms of like friends, Like it's very hard to have real friends that you have like for the rest of your life. And I think I do have those friends as my soulmates. But romantically, like no, I'm not on the same level as you.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe that my best friend is my soulmate. She really completes me. We're like, we call each other twins for a reason because we feel a lot of the same emotions. We've, like our upbringings were very similar.
Yeah.
And
lot
that's a
of
good point.
Common personalities and traits.
Exactly, yeah. Well, why don't you do yours?
Well, mine, I feel like a lot, definitely, if not everyone, like most people have thought about this question before. But basically, I think about it all the time because I love, sci-fi movies, the sci-fi genre. Are there other beings or other life forms out there in the galaxy? I think about that all the time.
Do you really?
Because like
something-
Earth is like this tiny, and then, our galaxy is right here. and then the galaxy is like this big.
Oh, and then
in
if
this
you,
like universe.
yeah, I was gonna say if you get
know,
really deep, it extends.
Right,
You know,
like Earth is like a speck of dust, and then humans are even like smaller than that.
That's true.
So you're telling me nothing else exists like out there.
You're
in
right.
terms of like other, beings. Like it doesn't have to be like humans. Like it'd actually be more fun if it's
they
like
weren't humans.
what we see in like alien movies. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah.
Creepy, but
Do you
cool.
ever think of that question?
Not really. I think it would just overwhelm me if I think about it too much. I
In
mean,
a bad way, or?
Yeah. I mean, I have a lot of anxiety to begin with. So if I just existential questions in general, if I think too much about them, it increases my anxiety, and then we don't go anywhere. But that question specifically, no. I guess I'm not really that into like alien movies or creature like related things.
Yeah. But they
so
don't
I'm
have
not
to
really
be-
exposed to it
Yeah.
on a daily basis. So I don't think about it, not too much.
Yeah, it sounds like when you're thinking of this question, you're thinking of like the horror aspect of it, like aliens and like.
Yeah, but I also feel like aliens could be good creatures, you know?
Yeah, like how,
they just look scary
right
to us, but to them they look like
right.
themselves. We might look scary to them.
That's true. I mean,
If
if
they
you
exist.
just think of like the universe, the galaxy, it's so big,
Yeah.
and we're like over here, and it's like we're super tiny. I just know there's someone else out there.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if we don't have
What-
proof.
Well,
but
sort
like I
of.
just know there's something.
We
out
see
there.
those. What do they call it? The things that like float in the sky sometimes. I'm
is that?
escaping the word.
The Northern Light.
No, but a good point. The Northern Lights. We don't. I mean, I guess there's scientific like
That's
reasoning
true. That's
behind it.
backed up by science.
Yeah, but I'm talking about like the ET.
UFO?
Yes, thank you, UFO.
Oh, like the unidentified flying objects.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like they're watching us. I really do, and I think that's okay as long as they don't do any harm.
Yeah. I mean, this might be like dark to think about, but I'm hoping we get to at least experience some sort of
In our lifetime.
phenomenon. Yeah. Like a proof that something else is out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that leads me to my second question, which is reincarnation. Am I saying that right?
Yeah.
Do you believe that exists? So what happens after death? It's a huge question to think about, and we'll probably spend 2 hours here or
Right.
more talking about it if we really get deep into it. But do you believe that we live another life after this, or do we just, I heard that you just live your same life in a loop
Right.
all the time.
Well, that relates to my second question too, like what happens to life after death.
Yeah.
So yes, I do think about it, and I don't know. I mean, if you're religious, then you have an answer to this, heaven or hell,
Right.
like either one of those. But if you're
Yeah.
not, then the options are like probably infinite. Like what happens to us after death? Do you get reincarnated? So like going back to your question,
Yeah.
I do believe like that can be one of the options, like be reincarnated to something else.
Isn't it so scary to think about?
It is.
Because then my overthinking anxiety self is just like, what if, like, what am I going to do with my life? Who am I going to be? Who are my parents going to be? Like, is my soul still going to be here? But
Like
no,
if you
because,
remember
like,
your past life,
right.
I don't think that would be cruel.
That
like
would
if
be
you
cool.
remember all,
But if this is
if you have
true,
all your memories,
if this is true, then I've lived before and I remember anything. But they do say certain things
Right.
like where you have like a birthmark is where you might have been killed in the past. So like if you have, I don't know, a mole or something, something could have happened there. Why are you laughing?
the mole. No, but I do. I agree with the reincarnation.
Yeah,
it's,
I don't
it's
know.
a cool
This is
concept.
a complicated
It
question.
would be a cool concept for like a sci-fi movie.
Yeah.
But I just
sure.
hope if it's real, I just hope I don't become like a rock in my next life.
Why not? Rocks are cool.
I don't know. I just like
They live
it's
forever.
Just uneventful. Like
But you watch everything. You know what?
That's
This
true.
is interesting because, and this might sound crazy, but the other day or earlier today when I was walking, I was looking at brick buildings and I was thinking to myself,
if you were
what if I become a brick? Then I'm going to stay here forever because brick buildings you know what I mean? Like Harvard is full of old brick buildings that have been here forever. Anyways, I guess my point is, if I could live another life, I want to be a brick, you know?
I would not, absolutely not want to be a brick. I would want to be like Beyonce or something.
No, but what if you couldn't be human? What would you want to be?
If I couldn't be a human, I would be like, I don't know, a mermaid.
Oh,
that's not a human.
Fine. Well, we can argue about that.
You can say a brick.
And you thrive in the ocean.
Yes.
Well, I know we have to take a short break in a second, but real quick, what is happiness? Why are you laughing? What is what does happiness look like? I guess I should have rephrased that. I don't know.
I'm cracking up because these questions are throwing me in a loop, bro. I feel like I'm high, but
it's never ending.
Yeah.
But he's not. Just to clarify.
I'm not. I don't do it. But anyways, that's your third question?
Yeah, but should maybe our guests can answer this question?
Yes, we're gonna have a guest.
Oh yeah, I guess I spoiled it. Sorry.
And they're gonna bring their own, existential questions. And maybe they already have the same questions as us, but
I feel like the questions we went over are very popular.
Common, yeah. Yeah.
And that's okay. I feel like it's questions we should think about.
I have one unique one that some people might not have it, but we'll see.
Well, you should share it real quick, and then we'll discuss it after.
Okay, well, my last one is, do animals talk to each other in their own language?
That's a good one. I think about that with my cat.
Like when you hear like birds tweeting, like they're so loud, they must be like communicating with each other.
Mm-hmm. Well, I like to believe I communicate with my cat really well. She meows, I meow back. And then we just have a little daily conversation, so maybe.
So you just meow at your cat?
So maybe I'm a cat after all. All right, let's take a break. We'll be back with our guests, who will hopefully be more eventful than we are. Welcome back to What's Up 20s. We took a short break, and we now have two wonderful humans in the room.
Yes.
Shall we introduce ourselves? Yes. First one to my right.
Hi, my name's Alyssa. I'm a friend of Yanka's. Happy to be here.
Hi, I'm Georgette. I'm a frequent guest here, I think. I've been here a few times, best friend of Alfonso and of Yanka as well.
Welcome, you guys. So, Alfonso, should we share what we were up to? Because they have no idea. So.
Yes, to catch up the viewers, we're talking about existential questions. Basically, what that is questions that we think about in the middle of the night before we go to sleep or whatever,
randomly in the day.
Random questions that everyone has.
When you have an anxiety attack, you just start thinking about life after death.
Exactly.
Just normal things.
So let's just, summarize our questions so they know what we talked about.
Yes.
My questions were, are there other beings or life forms out there in the galaxy? What happens to life after death? Which we basically have the same question.
Yeah, I feel like that's a common one.
Yes. And then, do animals talk to each other in their own little language?
Yes.
Yeah.
Good ones. Mine were, do soulmates exist, really? Or is this something that was made up? Do you believe in life after death, which we sort of talked about? Mm-hmm. What is the true meaning of happiness? Like, what does real happiness look like? Because we have this concept of happiness, but who knows? And last, that I didn't mention in our previous part of the podcast is there a God? But this is complicated and a little political because people believe in different gods, but
that's true.
What is God anyway?
I like that.
Well, I have one that I didn't share since you shared one that.
Okay, what is there?
Do you believe in destiny? Like that our lives are already written out, that it's just it's just playing out at this point.
Good. That's a good one.
That's a good one.
I have one. I think people underestimate or just completely disregard dreaming. But our minds are so powerful that dreams, I feel like, could be an alternate universe or an alternate reality. Who's to say that there aren't other dimensions or, endless possibilities? We're dreaming more than half of our lives, some people.
crazy to think about.
It's a good one.
And the muscle itself is powerful. Like people have went into ice cold baths and made themselves steam the bath before, like crazy things.
Yeah, that's a good one.
So that's your first question, right? Let's expand on that.
How
Do you think those scenarios in your dreams are happening in like another timeline?
In another alternate timeline, yeah. Because time itself is not linear, which is another thing. What is time and space?
Oh, that gets so complicated. My
see,
brain
you know,
starts to like hurt. Yeah, I don't know.
I think another one too is kind of stemming off of like that happiness thing, but psychology. How much of human behavior is learned and what's truly innate? Like when push comes to shove, will a human really kill another human? Mm-hmm. Is it innate in us to do that? Depending on who we like, what we value over a life.
That's a good one, because
That's deep.
we were taught things, but like who even made these rules, right? Like
how much is really taught, you know? Like are we born with sympathy and empathy, or do we really learn that from our idols? Or, you know, why do some parents still try to teach empathy, but it just doesn't exist? Does that mean that people who aren't as empathetic or sympathetic are not like screwed up or like messed up or missing something, but is it really innate behavior?
That's a good one. What do we think?
You just blew my mind.
I know.
I definitely think
should write
that's
a book.
something you learn along the way, just from experiencing different things, like seeing what other people go through, what you go through. I feel like you build that empathy over time, because I feel like when you think of like people who become serial killers or murderers, I feel like they go through things, and I feel like they're not feeling that empathy for those people or things that they do. Like, you know how they say people who hurt animals when they're younger, they tend to become like serial killers or stuff. They just don't have that empathy. They just never learned it. So I think it's definitely something you learn over time.
That's interesting. Do you have a
Speaking
question?
of death, I'll start
yes.
with the one that I really like. So,
I'm excited.
would knowing the date of your death affect how you live your life?
That's such a
I feel
good
like we
one.
talk about that a lot, though.
I feel like the first question is, do I even want to know what
That is true.
age I'm gonna die?
I feel like I'll be
But
very
going back to-
anxious.
Literally, I feel
Yeah.
like, I would live my life differently.
Isn't it crazy that death is ultimately inevitable?
Yeah.
That is true.
That is a crazy
And you
like
could die a
thing to
really
think about.
painful death, or you could die an easy death, which in this case would be old age. But some people don't want to live to old age. Like they want to die immediately, like on impact.
Yeah, I think about that a lot, because I feel like when I'm 80, I'm gonna miss being my age. Even though they say like every age you live, you learn to love it and you learn to appreciate it and you like gain wisdom.
Yeah.
But I just know I'm gonna miss it because I live in the past. So to answer the question, I don't know if I want to know when I'm gonna die. I'm already so anxious. If I knew the date that I was gonna die, do I know how I'm gonna die?
No, if you just knew the date. Like, let's
would
say
you
you
live
were
your
to
life?
die
Imagine- okay, so
May
then-
3rd, 2086. What would you do?
Damn, I'm gonna live
That's
a
a good
long
time.
life.
I know that was so far. I
Better fill that life up.
That's good.
I said like 2025.
I literally
tomorrow.
was, and I was like, wait, that's too soon. Let me give
You
it
know
some
what?
time.
I would already go somewhere else. I'd be like, oh my god. No, I would hate that, because imagine the day comes, May, whatever you said. Then I'm gonna be like, oh my god, I'm gonna be watching my every move. Like, how am I gonna die? Am I gonna trip and die and fall? Am I gonna get
in a
stabbed?
sense, though,
Oh,
if you know when you die, let's say it's however many years, maybe a little bit closer, like 5 or 6, 10 years. In a sense, isn't that giving yourself kind of peace of mind? Because when people really think about their existence and what their purpose is in life, when it boils down to, I'm gonna die in 2 years, it's like, my purpose in life is just to live at this point. What
And
can
you
you get
wanna-
done in 2 years? What are you gonna be, like a world leader in 2 years?
I mean, maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So then I
support
guess
it.
like, why not just live however you were gonna live your life without knowing?
Guess that's why people live
Right.
in the present. Like people say to live in the
Exactly.
present because you will literally die.
Yeah, I feel like that's the point of like that existential question, is to just live your life how you want it,
That's the purpose.
rather than knowing like, oh, it's gonna be soon, like your life is gonna be short or like long.
So it sounds like we settled. on this question? None of us want to know, right?
I don't care to know, I think.
I feel
Maybe
like
Would you want to
someday.
know, Alyssa? I don't think we asked
I feel
you.
like a part of me would and part of me wouldn't. It reminds me, I don't know if you've ever seen the movie In Time with Justin Timberlake and like they have
Oh,
the
they have like
watch
the
on-
little
yes,
things.
the
Yeah,
time.
that's good.
I feel like if it was in that sense, I would
What does that mean?
want to know. You
They
never
ha-
see that movie? So it's
No,
like they
a
have
clock.
like a clock on their hand and it ticks
counts
down.
you down, yeah.
And like they work and that's how they get paid.
You
They
pay
get like
with time,
added
right?
time and like to buy stuff you have to use time. And like in the beginning of the movie his mom dies because she runs out of time. And it's just like, I would want to know if it was
I wanna
something like
watch
that.
that.
But if I had to know like the exact date, I think I would be like very anxious. I would just wild out. I would just do everything under the sun until that day comes.
Okay, this is unrelated, and we're probably gonna jump into your questions next. But I was watching Last of Us last night, and I was just talking to my partner about if I was in an apocalypse like that, I would just want to die, like in the beginning. I just want to ask you guys what you would do, because he's like, no, I would fight until the last day, or until I can't fight anymore. And I'm like, I would just.
I would definitely want to fight. Like I want to see
I don't
like
know.
how
I'm all
things
set.
unfold. I want to see people's like
The horror.
apocalypse outfits.
I want
like
to see the horror.
I
they
personally
look like.
will say I've watched all 11 seasons of The Walking Dead, so I think I'm good.
You
If
did?
it's the zombies and like The Walking Dead, like they're not super crazy, I think I'll be fine. But if it's World War Z zombies or like The Last of
fast,
Us, yeah, you can end me right then and there. But The
Yeah.
Walking Dead, I'll be
See,
straight.
I keep saying this, but I live in the past. So if I were to be in that scenario, I would just be thinking about how good life was before. And I would just be unhappy. I would just
But
die of
think about
depression,
it.
probably.
You can literally do pretty much whatever you want. Like nothing like bad, but like
In
it's
an
a free
apocalypse?
world in an apocalypse.
You want to purge?
Yeah, and people are like always coming for you and they want to kill you. Okay, better yet, would you guys eat like
Eat what?
let's say, because me and my partner, again, we went over this together, and this was really interesting to hear because now I know where he stands if something were to happen. He told me that if I I died or whatever, like somebody shot me, he would eat me. Would you guys eat your partner or like your friend or
You
whoever's
you
with-
really won't know your answer until you're in that situation.
So what do you say?
I mean, if you're really
He's eating
starving,
somebody.
That's what I know.
if
Is
you're
Yeah.
really starving, you're gonna eat whatever.
I would
is
eat
near
you. Why waste your body? I think.
I would not eat.
So you wouldn't donate your body to me?
That's what I'm
just-
saying.
just to
I'm
help me?
dying. If my partner in crime died, I'm dying. There's no purpose.
So just let like nature do
Well,
it.
Would you eat your partner?
no.
Why not? What if you said I
wouldn't
want you to?
either.
I would just kill myself. I'm too sensitive.
Trigger warning in the beginning.
Oh,
of this.
sorry. Trigger warning. I would just
Existential.
unalive
You
myself.
Romeo and Juliet it.
Anyways, let's get back to your questions.
Let's veer
These are
off from like the death questions.
These
I
are
want to
things
go into I want to tap into dreaming and
Yes.
the mind, because I think tying in with dreaming is also people who have the sixth sense or mediums. What's going on with that?
Like
that
being
itself
able
is a form of
to-
existentialism, because
Right.
I mean, some people will believe it, some don't until you
Yeah.
actually experience
Right,
it.
right.
But what is beyond this plane that we can't see?
Yeah,
You know, what's beyond this dimension or reality that we can't see?
because they have some connection outside
AKA
of-
like we're not alone. Not even talking about just otherworldly, like forget about planets, just on this earth, I feel like there are still lingering spirits or
I do
I
believe
do,
that.
yeah.
I haven't experienced one, but hey,
you never know.
if there are life forms out there in the universe, like why not like invisible ghosts here in this world right now, you know?
So
Right.
would you say, do you believe in ghosts or spirits?
yeah, definitely. I think if you believe in souls and reincarnation, then spirits definitely play a factor, because where do you go? Like after death.
Yeah, where do you go? Where do
And
you
even
go?
if-
Where do you think you go?
It's tricky. I believe in reincarnation. I don't doubt that maybe there are people who have lived past lives, they claim, and I don't doubt them, you know, but at the same time, I don't know. Do we start fresh? Like, do we have memories of our past lives? Even if
Yeah.
we got reincarnated into an animal, that's still a soul in itself.
Yeah.
So I believe that every energy in the universe cannot be created or destroyed, only like I don't know what the word is.
What would you want to be reincarnated as? 'Cause she said a brick.
There's context. No. Context,
building you.
Alfonso, please.
You're gonna be a brick in my house.
Yeah, because my point was, like, bricks can live forever, right? Or whatever forever means. What is forever anyway? We had that question in our break.
Right.
But like a church, right? Like a church in Harvard has been here for like the past 100 years. I'm probably making this number up. So a brick will be there for a long time, is my point.
But
But what would you, yeah.
What would I
Enough
be?
about my brick.
Dang, I mean, if we're talking about like realistically of things that have a soul, so not an inanimate object, I don't know if they have souls or not, but I would pick something like a bird. I
Okay.
don't know, something free, you know?
How about
I
you?
definitely don't want to be human again.
I would want to be
Really?
human again.
You want to be human
I
again?
think I would be too scared to be an animal. Like, what if I come back as like a fly and someone just swats me and then I'm done
Then it's
in
a
like
short
2
life,
seconds?
then
Yeah,
then
then
you
you
get
recycle, you know?
reincarnated into another.
Because every baby
I
needs a
would
new
want to be
soul,
another
right?
person. Hopefully in a rich family. In another lifetime.
That's important. That's
very-
important.
That's true.
Very valid.
Or like when people feel like they were royalty in their past lives, like, or you see pictures of people now and then people from like the 1800s with the
And
same
they have
face.
That's scary.
Strong
That is,
resemblance,
literally, that's some type of reincarnation. It's scary.
For real.
Pharrell Williams, he's lived for like 1,000 years. Have you seen pictures of him?
People say that with Anne Hathaway and her husband. People say that she resembles Anne Hathaway and William Shakespeare. If you ever looked them up, like, and William Shakespeare, his wife's name was
I
Anne
believe it.
Hathaway. And he said to her, like, I will love you in every lifetime. And then if you Google both of them, they look like just alike.
That's so creepy.
That's creepy.
It's very
eerie.
creepy.
Dang.
But 'tis is the way of life, isn't it?
Yeah.
What is
Well,
life?
what are your other questions?
Yeah. Alyssa, what's your next one? That was a good one.
It was. I like that one. Let's see. Is one lifetime enough?
I think it depends on how you value a lifetime.
Depends on how long your lifetime lasts.
That's true.
But like, to answer that question, I feel like for me, probably not. Like if you're someone who's adventurous, you would want more than one lifetime, so you can experience as much things as you want. So for me, it's not enough, probably.
Would you consider
But
that
I think
greedy?
with the right
I was just
people,
about to say
though,
that. Yeah.
with the right people, it might be enough. You know, if you're satisfied by the end of your life, then you're like, yeah, this was a good one.
Right, because if you had a short life, but you were happy with everything you did, you had no
Right.
regrets, then that's
But I don't
a
think it's
good
greedy
lifetime.
though, because it's like life is infinite. Like
Right.
there's no cap on how many like people live. I mean, I guess there are some countries that has a limit on like people, I guess, but
I'm talking about other countries that like limit like household
like what
Like
like
3
the
kids
one
to a
like the
household?
one baby policy in China.
in China. Okay,
Yeah.
that's what I.
So like I guess being greedy in that sense, yeah.
But are you saying like if you were given the chance to have another lifetime, would you take it?
Yeah, let's say you died and you're in front of whoever, God, whoever you believe in, and they're like,
Beyonce.
do you want to
Wanna
go
go
back and give it another try, or are you satisfied and you go off wherever you go
Off
off?
where?
to?
Rest.
I
You
need
just
to know
rest.
where
Your
There's
mind
so
just
many
rests.
questions
I
after
know.
these questions.
I'm
It's
like, where are you taking me? Is it better than where I was?
No answer. No answer. You either get to choose to go
live
back,
again,
Yeah.
or
That's
or
hard.
there's you go on.
But like that's
whatever.
another thing. What if after death it's just like pitch black? It's
They,
like,
well, that's your problem.
that's
That's,
what I-
your problem. If he said whoever it is
no, but for
telling you.
everyone, it's like that's it. Like just
I know, right?
So I guess the
Scary.
question is-
silence, pitch black. You don't see anything.
That sounds awful. Ugh, I hate having these
But maybe
conversations.
you
Have
won't
a mind,
realize
though.
because you won't have the mind
Yeah,
to comprehend
it's
that nothing's
Probably
happening.
we're just dust, like in the galaxy, like just
Oh my god, so crazy.
with no feeling, no soul, no nothing. Like,
Do we have any non-death related questions? Because this is bringing
do
me
we
back.
have, like,
Okay,
an uplifting?
listen, this is bringing me back to
existential
when I
question?
was like 11 or 12, and I would have these questions in the backyard with my friends all the time, maybe younger than that.
Yeah.
And I think that triggered me. Yeah. But what was your question again?
which one?
The one that you just asked? Because I want to answer it too. 'cause
Is
that was-
one lifetime enough?
I I personally, I don't think it is, because I didn't answer that. I have a lot of goals and things that I want to do, and I know that it's not going to be achieved in this life. And I'm ambitious, I guess you could say.
And with how life is going right now, I'm gonna need one more lifetime.
Do it all over again.
That's fair. That's fair.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you guys have any other questions?
What about you, Georgia? I feel like you only shared two.
Two
so
questions?
Far. Yeah. Give us a juicy one. Come on.
I have a notebook, but I jotted down some things, but I don't know if this is really existential, I guess so, but on the topic of animals, how you mentioned, do animals talk to each other in other languages? Also, why are humans evolve? Like, how did we evolve to this sense of, why are we so different from animals in the sense that we have parts of our brain that can comprehend feelings and reasoning and logic? Why?
Yeah.
And can animals comprehend it as well, but they just can't relay it to us?
Right.
I feel like babies understand so much and they know what you're talking about, but their brain is just not developed enough to say something yet. I think to the extent of an animals are obviously missing a part of the brain that actually does all of that, but I feel like they understand us just in a different language. You can communicate to other beings just without using the same language, you know?
Damn.
I
Deep.
think animals are very smart. I think
They're
dogs
way smarter
especially
than
can
people, let on.
understand us to a certain capacity. Like, have you ever seen those videos where people taught their dogs how to use those little buttons and then they know what to pick and it's like them talking to us? I feel like even without that, like Marcus's dogs and everything, like we tell them certain things or we say certain things to them and I feel like they just know. They just know what I'm talking about, or like they know like when you're sad or when you're angry. Like I feel like animals just understand us on a certain level. They just can't speak to us.
So I feel like it ties back to the purpose of life, because animals have lives too, but you don't see them looking for a purpose. Does that make sense? Like, we're the only ones that have the capacity to think, oh my God, I'm failing my family or something. But animals do what they have to do and move on. Like, they're strictly on the case of survival. I just wonder where our society would be if we weren't competing in terms of capitalism and money. Like, if we didn't have money and it was all means of just like natural survival, our purpose of life would change, I think.
For sure.
You know?
I thought of one last question for me.
Go on.
I always think about, like, are we in a simulation? Like,
here we go. Next questions.
Is someone like controlling us? Like,
take a break.
The game Sims?
Obviously.
I love playing Sims, and it's like, what if we're in like, like in a Sims world, and we're just being played by like someone.
Right.
Kind of like the
higher being.
Yeah.
What's that thing called? The game show? Squid Games. Like they're controlling everything.
You know what I think about? Have you ever seen Men in Black? The first Men in Black.
Yes.
You know at the ending when they zoom out of our entire universe and our universe is in one marble and aliens are playing with a bunch of marbles?
Right, that's the perfect visual.
We don't know. We just don't know.
Literally, that's a perfect visual. And it's just like, if, we are in a simulation, I need my person to like pick it up,
Your person's drunk.
Right. It's like, what's going on?
I wouldn't say so much simulation, but I definitely feel like there's people in power that definitely control some of the things that go on. Like, this is something me and Marcus talk about for hours. Like, he truly, like, the Illuminati, like, he could go on and on and on. I definitely feel like people in power, like, have control over things that we wouldn't know or do things that we wouldn't think would affect us, but they have, like, a major role in it.
But, like, how did they get there? And, like, why were they the chosen ones?
Money. They have the money to do the things that they want.
A factor in those like other universes, that's crazy.
I don't even think.
What if money didn't exist?
That's what I mean. Is like what other life forms would they use as a form of money instead? Like
us.
No, like
Just pawn us off one by one.
Just bartering off like material.
But then it's like, how much is each person worth? How do you know? Oh.
Wow, there's so many questions.
That's pretty good.
Do we have
any other questions? Alyssa, maybe perhaps you have any that are not like scary? to think about.
I feel like all of mine were scary.
I think existential questions are scary in general because there's no answer.
Because there's no
Yeah.
answer, yeah.
It's the
Or not
Okay.
concrete
We
answer.
can bring it back to some love because I like talking about love. So let's.
Yeah.
Some people say opposites attract, but what do two people have to have in common to connect with each other?
I don't think people have to have something in common. I think if the desire to both want each other is there, love is also a choice. Like I feel like it's both. It's an innate feeling that once you see someone, you're like, oh, I like them. But it's a strong choice to like constantly choose that person because there are
I
going
agree.
to be obstacles regardless. Like no relationship is perfect. So I think that opposites can attract, but that's not like a phrase people should go by. It's just who you like
Good point.
and who you think is worth your actual time and investment.
Because like sometimes I hate the opposite, so like I'm not attracted.
Right.
You know?
That's fair. That's fair.
Well,
Like soulmates.
right.
She
We
did,
talked
yeah.
about that,
That's
yeah.
That was her first
Like,
question.
do you believe in soulmates?
I do
I
believe
think
in
so, yeah.
friends, soulmates. That's what I said.
I believe in human soulmates, yeah.
Just like relationships in general.
yeah,
Yeah.
but romantically, I don't know.
It just
I don't know,
sounds like
that's
a
tough
you
to say.
problem, Alfonso. Yes, I do.
You've never like
Shaking.
connected
On
with
that
someone.
note,
or-
on
And
that
thank you
note.
for coming to our show.
Yeah.
But yeah, as you guys can see, there are so many questions that exist in everyone's minds. And I'm sure all of the questions that we talked about, you've thought about like literally maybe last night.
You
Like,
should think about this
Yeah.
more.
literally.
Because this is the truth to your life. This is
Right,
the
like
real
what are
purpose of the
what are
world.
we doing right now?
what is this even for?
Who said to do this topic right now? Like, you know,
I am crying internally. Can we stop? This is me in a friend group. I'm
Like-
always like,
what are we even doing?
Let
Like
me
this
distract myself.
this matter? Like, I don't know.
yes, it does.
It's for work, yeah, you're right.
But what is
Really, we
work
get paid.
anyway?
But why do we have to work? You know, you see, we can keep going on. Like we can
literally
go
start
for
questioning
days.
everything. Well,
But-
I have. Can I know we have to wrap up, but I
Yeah.
have one last question that was
Yes.
brought up by wonderful Maritza earlier. If you guys, I know we haven't lived all there is to life. Like we haven't lived until we're 80, obviously. Hopefully we will. But if you could, like, just live one age forever, what age would it be? And it doesn't have to be
Or like
age.
an
it's
age
question.
range,
It's a good
you know,
question.
like
Yeah.
20s, 30s, 40s. But like we haven't even reached. 30.
Well, we haven't, but I feel like I'm gonna settle for 30s because, like, being in my 20s is okay. But I know that when I'm in my like 35, hopefully I'll be a lot more confident in myself and my profession and just life. I'll have lived a lot more. So I think I'm gonna settle for 35.
It's a solid choice.
I'd say like
Right,
30s.
safe.
I think 30s would be like the new 20s. Like they hyped up 20s so much, but
they?
20s is like
The world.
this
All
just
right.
is a society. Like 20s is just about foundation and like building, trying new things, and like, you know, getting lost.
Right.
And
Yeah.
then 30s is when you like just, you know, like, okay.
Well, that's what they say. But then I know people in their 30s who are like a
That's
mess. So, yes, we have someone in the audience pointing to themselves. I'm not gonna say who. But yeah, how about you guys?
I would say older, like
Older than that?
50s, 60s. I think that's just
Interesting.
because
Why?
people
I
have
like
told
that.
me all my life that I'm such an old soul, or I feel like just my personality, and I'm like, maybe I'll be a good old person,
Yeah.
a nice young lady, and hope I'm
We'll settle into that.
wiser when I'm that age. So like 50s, 60s. I don't have to work by then, so
Yeah.
hopefully.
It's a good age. to
That is
settle.
that's a healthy.
Oh,
What
that's
about
a
you?
good
It's a
point.
wise age.
I kind of want to stick to an age that I don't have to work anymore. So maybe
I was just gonna say
But by
like
the time
baby.
like
I want to
we're
be a baby
50,
again.
60, the new retirement age is
kid.
gonna be like
Just be taken care of for
79
the
years
rest of
old.
my life.
Yeah.
How about you, Georgette?
I'm gonna go with like a solid mid-20s.
So you like your 20s?
I want to be young and spry. I don't want to have any backaches or anything. I don't like once 30 hits, I know I'm gonna have trouble. Like staying up at night at the club. Like I'm really gonna be struggling. So I want to be at like a hot, crisp, young 26.
25.
You know, like 26. Like somewhere older, but not like 18.
Yeah,
or-
people still take you seriously. But
Right. This is under the circumstance that like we're living immortally forever, and I'm a vampire or something, and you just got to keep acting like you're in college like for the rest of your life to maintain your.
Good point. So wait, did you answer yours, Alfonso?
Yeah, I said 30s.
You said a
because I
baby.
But
feel
then you
like
said a baby, yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna be a baby. I'll take
no,
care
I
of you.
feel like babies
Decided.
don't have like power and control over
You
their
don't,
life, so
but you already chose
I don't want to
baby.
be that. My first choice was 30s, so I'll stay with 30s. And I
That's
feel
a-
like
that's a safe
20s
choice.
is like full of trials, so I'm anticipating my 30s to be like just a little stable,
We'll see. Let's
see
do
about
I hear
a
laughter in the control room, and I feel like
let's do a
the control room
reunion.
is full of
They're
30-year-old
guffawing in there.
people.
Well, it sounds like we won't have the answer by then. So let's do a reunion in 10
really
years, everybody, and
Yes.
we'll talk about how life is.
Existential.
Yes.
And we're all gonna be like, yeah, I wish I was 9. Even younger.
Actually, yeah. Well, with that, I think that's
With
our
that
episode.
said, yeah, a bunch of questions.
Oh no.
If you can relate to some of those questions, comment down below. I don't know where, but
Somewhere.
yeah, let us
Leave,
know.
leave a world emoji or whatever. Ooh,
Yes.
Sorry.
Shout out to the students in this class. Shout out to the staff in the control
Yes.
room. Shout out to our guests.
Thank you guys for
Yeah.
coming.
Thank
That's
you
a
for
wrap
having
on
us.
And I hope that
What's
we
Up
don't stay
20s?
up all night thinking about these questions tonight, because
I
definitely
probably will.
Definitely
and I'm gonna
going
look at my
to.
cat and be like, do you understand me? Are you
You're gonna be like, I know everything.
She be meowing
A-hole.
at night. That's what she said. She just be meowing all night.
No, I didn't
talk-
go night.
She's talking to you. She's talking to you.
I'm gonna be like, so you choose not to be nice to me on purpose.
Purring.
Because you understand. I'm not purring. Anyways, we'll catch you guys in the next episode.
Yes.
It will be fun. So
I hope you
tune in.
enjoyed.
Thank you guys
Yes.
again.
Of
You were the
course.
best. It was great
This was
having
fun.
you.
Peace
And
out.
that's all. Bye.